Hey, this is Matt once again. What about the other videos? The other paid request this time from Tomas. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, whatever the case may be, commentaries, tier lists, versus lists, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And like I said, this is for Tomas, and he wanted me to talk about Never Back Down from 2008. Now, I know this film definitely has a fan base. A lot of people do enjoy the movie. But to be honest, the movie really never did much for me. So I know that's an unpopular opinion. Like I said, a lot of people like the film. I think it has a bit of a cult following nowadays. It just, when I first saw it and then when watch it again, it does nothing for me. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. It just reminds me of much better movies I would rather watch. Either they're because I like the characters more, or I like the actors more, or I like the action more, or they have a bit more charm to them. Here it's an MMA version of the Karate Kid with a bunch of people that look like they got out of an Abercrombie and Fitch ad. That's the way I look at it. It's directed by a guy who I don't think is that talented, Jeff Wadlow, whose credits include Cry Wolf with John Bon Jovi, Kick-Ass 2, Truth or Dare, and Fantasy Island, that 2020 horror movie version of Fantasy Island. I'm like, has this guy ever made a good film? Some would say this film, but if this is the best he got, he should have got out of the fucking business long ago. And this movie just reminds me, like, I'd rather just go watch Lionheart, The Karate Kid 1 and 2, Red Belt. Red Belt is a good one. Showdown. This is like a remake of Showdown with Billy Blanks. I'd rather watch Showdown because that, to me, had more charm to it than this movie. It does help that this film also has Amber Turd in it as well. So Sean Faris, which his acting isn't bad, and he does remind me, look-wise, of a very, very young Tom Cruise. And his acting's alright. I've seen much worse, but he's a guy who's playing football, and someone talks about his dad, and he gets pissed, and he gets into a fight. His mom is always pissed at him. His mom is always talking down to him. There's a lot of tension. The little brother is this tennis expert, prodigy. So the family moves to Florida. He moves to Florida, and it's a very paint by numbers, been there, done that movie. You have the troublemaker, you have the friction with a parent, the dad died, he's due at school, there's the guy who's the bully, there's the guy who he meets who becomes the comedic sidekick best friend, there's the girl who's with the bully, but the girl starts liking our lead guy. There's the wise trainer who has a past of his own. It's not Mr. Miyagi, it's not Billy Blanks, it's Djimon Hounsou from Amistad, from... he was in Constantine, been a lot of stuff. I like the actor, and he does... that's the thing. He does a fine enough job. Sean Faris, I've seen much worse. But it's just so by the numbers that, again, I feel like I've seen this multiple times, that I like the characters more. I think for the most part this has a lame soundtrack. The only songs I like is two in the finale. One is a Kanye West beat, which I like, and one is the slam. This is the slam, this is the one, which is when the trailer, I remember in the movie trailer for The Transporter 2. Yeah, The Transporter 2, the trailer, had that song. I do like that. But the rest of it, I thought the songs were just not my cup of tea. And like I said, the comedic sidekick best friend was very forgettable and didn't offer anything of much for me to give a shit, merit-wise. The romance between Sean Faris and Amber Turd I thought was kind of blasé. Yes, it's hard for me to now look at Amber Turd and think about the turd she left on the bed. Well, that's not fair. Well, fine, then it's not fair. Whoop-de-fucking do. Anyway, like I say, moved to Florida. There's a little fight club among the school. He gets invited to this party. Gigandet. I know I've seen him in other stuff, but I forget which ones. He's a guy that you look at, you go, he does look like a douche nozzle. The wannabe Billy Zabka. Let's say it reminds me of Karate Kid. It really does. Kid moves to a new place with his mom. Likes the girl, but the girl was with the bully. Bully knows that. Kicks the lead kid's ass, finds a trainer, trains under them. Only you don't have nearly the magic that Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita had with each other in the Karate Kid. Compared to this. In this case, again, the girl is Amber Turd. The trainer's at Djimon Hounsou, who runs a gym. There's montages of the guy getting better and stronger. I like that during one montage, like he's training in the gym, and then it'll cut to his brother at tennis, and then it'll cut to the mom doing laundry. Like, it's supposed to be this exciting montage with this song. He's training, his little brother's hitting the tennis racket, and then his mom is doing the laundry. Ooh, shit. Holy shit. Is she going to separate her whites from her colors? Is her socks going to be dirty in the laundry? Or her sheets going to be stained? Maybe stained with the blood of her victims when she puts people's heads through the goddamn laundromat in the training montage. Pedestrian by the numbers. And yeah, instead of karate, it's MMA. MMA has its place. There are movies that feature it that I don't mind. But at the same time, I have to be honest, strictly MMA fights are not interesting to me. I know I'm alone in that. I like martial arts. I like martial arts fighting in movies. And a bit of it, like John Wick, when he takes someone down, or other people, they take people down during a fight. I can enjoy that, but if the entire fight is that way, with a lot of grappling and holds, that doesn't interest me of a fight. That's one of the reasons why I don't watch UFC. I'd be more willing to watch a boxing match. I'd be more willing to watch a martial arts karate tournament. But I don't know, just grappling and hugging and slamming, grappling some more, tap out. It just doesn't interest me as much as a visual medium for a movie to see that during a fight scene. Like I said, it's fine if it's incorporated as an element to the rest of the fight. Like you're fighting back and forth and then you do an MMA move. Okay. But when it's the entire thing, it just, I don't know. It's not as satisfying to me. Now, maybe because I grew up in a different era with the movies I grew up with and the movies that introduced me, the action, the movies that are more my intrigue were the era of Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, Brandon Lee, Jeff Speechman, Chuck Norris, and etc. So that's the stuff that I prefer. So, say with karate. Like karate interests me more than MMA. So an MMA version of Karate Kid, it's just not as intriguing to me personally compared to others. Just a preference. And there's some decent MMA moves, to be fair. But sometimes the director will have so many edits, like during the final fight. There's so many edits where edit, then this movement, then this movement. There's never a moment where he gets the flow. That's one thing I think John Wick films, the first three, did well, where he's shooting and then you do a move and then go into the next one, then do a move, then go into the next one. You see this flow. But when you do a move and there's a cut, and then you do this and there's a cut, and then you do this, there's a crowd shot, and then you do this and it's a POV shot, then you do this. It's so rapid fire that it just feels like a entanglement of limbs. It's maybe not up to the level of Taken 2 and Taken 3, Liam Neeson sequels. Maybe not up to that level of how many edits, but it's getting more into that lane. And like everything, there are exceptions to the rules. There are exceptions of movies that have done that and I've enjoyed for other reasons, but as a movie that I wasn't enjoying because I really didn't give a rat's ass about the lead character. His story is that his dad was drunk, he could have taken the keys, he didn't, so he let his dad drive, and it hit a tree, and the dad died while he lived. His performance is not bad, and Djimon Hounsou is good, and I would say those scenes that they have together are the best parts of the movie. I think they do work well together, and Djimon Hounsou, he's got a good presence to him as an actor, and I've always liked him when he was in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He popped up in Deep Rising. He pops up from time to time. It's always nice to see him in there. He has the right voice, the right look, the right presence. It's too bad. He's done a lot of movies, but not a lot of starring roles after Amistad. Probably Blood Diamond and a few others here and there, but not really enough to. I think this is an actor that could have been used a lot more in stronger projects, at least to me. But it's either trying to go with the love story between Amber Turd, who's saying lines like, "Oh, these bits are still sweaty. I liked it." No, actually, I think she looks at his bits, and he goes, "They're still sweaty," and she's like, "I liked it." Something like that. I know she likes the sweat of bits. Apparently you liked also the turds in beds, too. But it's neither here nor there, Amber Turd. His friend, he as he's training more, he's more happy, so he doesn't want to fight in the big beat down thing that's literally called the beat down, where there's like a little tournament. He doesn't want to do it, but then the bad guy wants him in there, so he beats up his friend, puts his friend in the hospital, and he's like, you know what, sometimes you do have to fight. He goes in there. The only twist that I didn't mind is that during the tournament, the bad guy gets disqualified, and so like the lead goes in there. Where's he at? He got disqualified, so he does a tap, fine, you win, and it's not about that. It's about beating this guy. And like I said, there are some decent MMA moves. It's just the way it's edited. Jeff Wadlow, I don't think he's a competent action director. Apparently he's not competent in anything. Because those same issues I remember having in Kick-Ass 2, the way action scenes were. The way action scenes were shot, I do remember something to that effect being in Kick-Ass 2 an issue. Which is much inferior to Kick-Ass 1. I know I'm not the only one. This guy, he's not good at directing action scenes. He's not good at horror. When you look at Truth or Dare and Fantasy Island, that's what I mean. Is he good at anything? Does he just fail upwards? And he just keeps getting work? There are directors that sadly have only done one job, like Michael Davis. Well, that's not true. He's done a few, but last film we did was Shoot 'Em Up, which is so much better than this. But like chance after chance after chance, I guess maybe his movies make enough money on streaming services, home video type of services that he still continues to give fucking work. I don't know. Hey, it could be a shitty film, but if it's a low enough budget and it makes a tiny profit, hey, this guy can deliver what we want. He may not be good, the movies may not be good, but if they make money, we don't give a shit. So like I say, if you like Never Back Down, that's fine. It just, to me, I know I keep repeating myself, it's by the numbers, it's predictable. The lead character, the acting is fine, but the lead, I just didn't find a bit of a charm, star power feel to him. Sean Faris, that's probably why he didn't really act a whole lot of big notable projects afterward. Wasn't he in that, what was it, Team of the Fighters, based on the video game? Was that someone else? Amber Heard, we all know about her. So just seeing her in a movie just makes you go, it's hard to take you serious, lady. I know you can separate the art from the artist. You're better at it than me. What can I say? Each time I see her, I just imagine the shit she probably landed on. She landed on Johnny Depp's bed. That's all I can think of. The soundtrack, again, most of it was lame. The musical score didn't do much for me. The mom, I understand her frustration with her son, but the way they made her just seemed like a very, very bitchy character for most of it, to the point of, I get what they're trying to do with her, but she just was so unlikable with the way it was presented, the way they had her acted out, that it just made me kind of cancel her out when she was trying to make up for it at the end. So that by the end, she just sounded like one of those Charlie Brown adult wah 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 wah, just white noise. And again, the fight scenes, there's some decent moves, but I don't think it was edited as well as it could have been. To have times to really show all the moves and go through it without cuts. Have some moments where they're going back and forth and they do this and they do a turnaround. Especially nowadays when some people see that in UFC MMA fights, show that to the audience as well. But when it's this fast cutting, it just takes me out of the movie. And the villain, you just a douchebag, and you just, okay. It's just nothing that unique, special, or interesting about the film to me. Like I said, it reminds me of just a lot of other movies I'd rather watch and enjoy on a given day. If you liked it, teach their own. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.